Why are you hiding this from me? Caleb's voice shattered the silence as he cornered Emily in her mother's hallway, the pregnancy test clutched in his shaking hand. She backed against the wall, eyes wide, one hand instinctively protecting her stomach. How long have you known? His voice cracked. How long were you planning to keep my child a secret? Our child, she whispered. And maybe if you didn't treat me like something you owned, I would have told you. Owned. The word burned. I love you. Then why does your love feel like a cage I can't escape? Subscribe now and stay until the end. Comment your city below so I can see how far this story reaches. Let's begin. The pregnancy test hit the marble counter with a crack that echoed through Caleb Donovan's penthouse bathroom. His hands wouldn't stop shaking. 2 pink lines. Positive. The wrapper in the trash was dated 3 weeks ago. 3 weeks Emily had been carrying his child while looking him in the eye and saying nothing. Mr. Donovan. Marcus knocked. You're 3 o'clock, get out. Caleb's voice was unrecognizable. Sir, the investors. I said, get out. The door slammed. Caleb gripped the counter, staring at his reflection. He was a man who read people for a living, who could spot a lie across a boardroom. And he'd miss this. The woman he loved was pregnant, terrified, and hiding from him. His phone lit up. Emily, where are you? He barely recognized his own voice. Silence. Then, does it matter? The coldness in her tone stopped his heart. What? You'll just show up anyway. You always do. Emily, what are you talking about? I'm talking about the fact that I can't breathe without you watching. I can't make a decision without you overriding it. I can't even... Her voice broke. I can't even be pregnant without you finding out before I'm ready to tell you. Caleb's chest tightened. I found a pregnancy test in our bathroom. Was I supposed to ignore it? It's your bathroom, Caleb, your penthouse, your life. I'm just living in it. That's not fair. Isn't it? She laughed, but it sounded like crying. Name one thing in my life you haven't tried to control. The question hit him like a physical blow. I'm trying to help you. No, you're trying to own me. The line went dead. Caleb stood frozen, the dial tone screaming in his ear. Then he was moving, grabbing his jacket, his keys, his wallet. Marcus tried to intercept him in the hallway. Sir, if you walk out now, the Hastings Group will pull their investment. Let them. Caleb pushed past. That's $50 million. I don't care. The words exploded out of him. I'm about to lose everything that matters, and you're talking about money. Marcus stepped back, shocked. In 10 years of working for Caleb Donovan, he'd never seen him lose control. Not once. Caleb was already in the elevator, already pulling up Emily's location on his phone, a tracker he'd installed on her phone for safety 6 months ago. She was at her mother's apartment building. Of course she was. The drive took 17 minutes. Every second felt like drowning. He took the stairs 2 at a time, his heart hammering against his ribs. When he reached apartment 3C, he heard voices, Emily's and her mother's. You have to tell him, sweetheart. I can't. Emily was crying. Mom, if I tell him, he'll take over. He'll turn this into another thing he controls. I'll be an incubator he needs to protect. Caleb froze his hand on the doorknob. That's not fair to him, Mrs. Carter said gently. He loves you. I know he does, but his love is suffocating me. Emily's voice cracked. I'm 8 weeks pregnant, and I'm more terrified of telling him than I was of taking the test. 8 weeks, the charity gala. The night everything had changed between them. The night he'd thought they'd finally become unbreakable. Does he hurt you? Mrs. Carter's voice went sharp. No, God, no. Caleb would never. Emily took a shaky breath. But he doesn't trust me to take care of myself. He hired a bodyguard to follow me to class. He paid off my student loans without asking. He bought your building so you wouldn't have to move. He what? Your rent dropped last month. That was Caleb. He bought the whole building. Silence. Then Mrs. Carter said quietly, that boy has a good heart. I know, but a good heart doesn't give him the right to run my life. Emily's voice strengthened. And I won't raise a child in a relationship where I don't have a voice. Caleb stepped back from the door. Every word was a knife to the chest, but he couldn't stop listening. So what are you going to do? Mrs. Carter asked. I don't know. I love him so much it hurts, but I can't I can't let him turn me into someone who needs permission to exist. Have you tried talking to him? Every time I try, he fixes the problem before I finish the sentence. He doesn't hear what I'm saying. He just hears what he needs to fix. The door opened. Emily stood there, her eyes red and swollen, one hand resting on her still flat stomach. She saw him and all the blood drained from her face. Caleb, I found the test. His voice came out broken this morning. Her hand dropped from her stomach like she'd been burned. You went through my things. It was in the trash, Emily. I wasn't. He stopped. How long were you going to hide this from me? I don't know. The honesty in her voice destroyed him. Maybe forever. Mrs. Carter appeared behind Emily. I'll give you two some privacy. She squeezed her daughter's shoulder and disappeared inside. They stood in the hallway, the weight of everything unsaid crushing the air between them. Forever, Caleb repeated. You were going to raise my child without telling me. I didn't say that. You just said maybe forever. I said I don't know, Emily's voice rose. Because I don't, Caleb. I don't know how to be with you and still be myself. I don't know how to have this baby and not lose every piece of independence I have left. You think I'd take that from you? You already have. The words burst out of her. I moved into your penthouse because you convinced me my apartment wasn't safe. I quit my night job because you said I was working too hard. I let you pay for my nursing classes because you made it impossible to say no. And now I'm pregnant, and I know you're going to turn this into another thing you manage. Caleb felt like she'd ripped his chest open. Everything I did was because I love you. Love isn't supposed to feel like drowning. Emily's tears spilled over. It's supposed to feel like breathing. Then tell me how to love you right. His voice cracked. Because I don't know how to do this any other way. That's the problem, Caleb. You think love is something you do to me instead of something we build together. A door opened down the hall. An elderly neighbor peered out, eyes wide. Can we not do this in public? Emily whispered. Then come home. To your home. Not mine. She shook her head. I gave up everything to fit into your life and now I don't even recognize myself. The truth of it hit him like a freight train. What do you want from me? Space, Emily wrapped her arms around herself. I need space to figure out if I can do this, if we can do this. You want to leave me? It wasn't a question. I want to find myself again. Her hand moved back to her stomach. And I want to know that when this baby comes, I'll be its mother, not just another thing you protect. Caleb's whole world tilted. How much time? 2 weeks. 2 weeks. He couldn't breathe. Emily, you're pregnant. What if something happens? What if you need this? She pointed at him. This is exactly what I'm talking about. I'm 8 weeks pregnant, Caleb, not dying. I have a doctor. I have prenatal vitamins. I'm taking care of myself. But no buts, 2 weeks. You don't call unless I call first. You don't send money or gifts. You don't have Marcus follow me. Her voice broke. You just let me breathe. Every instinct screamed at him to argue, to promise he'd change, to beg her to stay. But Emily was looking at him with those clear, devastating eyes, and he knew this was the test, the one that mattered. Okay. The word tasted like ashes. You promise? I promise. Emily studied his face, searching for the lie. I want to believe you. Then believe me. Caleb took a step closer. 2 weeks. No contact unless you reach out first. She nodded slowly. Thank you. She turned toward her mother's door and panic seized him. Wait, Emily paused. Are you okay? The baby, do you have everything you need? Because I can... Caleb, her voice was firm but gentle. I'm fine, we're fine. But what if this is what I mean? She looked at him. You can't even give me 2 minutes before you start trying to fix things. The words hit him like a slap. I'm sorry. I know you are. Emily's expression softened. But sorry doesn't mean anything if you don't change. She disappeared into the apartment. The door closed and Caleb stood alone in the hallway, his entire world crumbling. His phone buzzed. Marcus, the investors walked. Hastings Group got the deal. That's $50 million down the drain. Caleb deleted the message without reading it. Money didn't matter. Nothing mattered except the fact that Emily was on the other side of that door carrying his child, and she was so scared of him that she'd rather face it alone. He made it to the street before the shaking started. His driver pulled up, but Caleb waved him away. He needed to walk, needed to think. 2 weeks, 14 days, 336 hours of not knowing if she was okay, if the baby was okay, if she was eating enough, sleeping enough, if she needed anything. His phone rang, his sister Claire. "I heard you torpedoed the Hastings deal," she said. "Want to tell me why? Emily's pregnant." Silence. Then, "Oh God." "She hid it from me for 3 weeks, and when I found out, she asked for 2 weeks of no contact." "Why would she?" Claire stopped. "What did you do? Why does everyone assume I did something?" "Because I know you, Caleb. You love people by controlling them. It's what you do." The words cut deep because they were true. "She said my love feels like drowning." "Does she have a doctor?" "Yes." "Prenatal vitamins?" "Yes." "Then she's handling it. Let her." "What if something goes wrong?" "Then she'll call you. But if you show up at her mother's apartment or send bodyguards or do any of the controlling bullshit you usually do, you'll lose her for good." Claire's voice softened. "I love you, but you need to hear this. Emily isn't a problem to solve. She's a person who needs to be trusted." The call ended, leaving Caleb standing on a corner in downtown Chicago, invisible in the crowd. He made it back to the penthouse as the sun was setting. The space felt cavernous without Emily. Her coffee mug sat in the sink. Her nursing textbooks were scattered across the dining table. Her presence was everywhere, and her absence was suffocating. Caleb picked up her favorite mug, the one with the chipped handle she refused to throw away. He started to wash it, then stopped. Set it down carefully. 2 weeks. He could do this. His phone buzzed. Unknown number. "Mr. Donovan, this is Dr. Sarah Chen from Women's Health Partners. Emily Carter listed you as her emergency contact. I'm calling to confirm your information." Caleb's heart stopped. "Is she okay?" "She's fine. This is just a routine verification. The baby's also fine. First trimester is progressing normally." Caleb closed his eyes. "Thank you. Of course, I want to note that Emily is a very responsible patient. She's taking excellent care of herself." The words should have been comforting. Instead, they highlighted everything Emily had been trying to tell him. She didn't need him to take care of her. She needed him to trust that she could take care of herself. After the doctor hung up, Caleb sat on the couch, Emily's mug in his hands, and stared at the city lights. Day 1 of 14. He could do this. He had to. Because losing Emily would destroy him in ways no business failure ever could. His phone buzzed again. A text from an unknown number. "Stop tracking my phone. I know you're watching. This is your first test. Pass it." Caleb stared at the message. She knew. Of course she knew. He opened the tracking app, his finger hovering over the delete button. Every instinct screamed at him to keep it. What if she needed him? What if something happened? But Emily's words echoed in his mind. "You think love is something you do to me instead of something we build together." Caleb deleted the app. Then he texted back, "Done. I'm sorry." 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "Finally, thank you. That means more than you know." He stared at the message, then typed, "I love you." The response came immediately. "I know. That's why this hurts so much." Caleb set the phone down and let himself break. Across town, Emily sat on her childhood bed, one hand on her stomach, tears streaming down her face. Her phone showed the tracking app had been deactivated. He'd actually done it. It was a start. Maybe they had a chance. But first she needed to figure out if she could be Emily Carter again. Not just Caleb Donovan's girlfriend. Not just someone's mother, just Emily. The woman she'd been before wealth and power and love had complicated everything. Her mother knocked softly. "You okay, sweetheart?" "I don't know." Emily wiped her eyes. "I love him so much, Mom, but I'm so scared." "Of what?" "Of disappearing, of becoming just another thing he protects instead of a person he partners with." Mrs. Carter sat beside her. "Then don't disappear. Make him see you." "What if he can't?" "Then you have your answer." Emily nodded, her hand still resting on the tiny life growing inside her. 2 weeks. 2 weeks, her mother echoed. Outside, the city hummed with life. And in 2 different places, 2 people who loved each other sat in the dark, wondering if love would be enough. Day 3 without Emily felt like dying in slow motion. Caleb stood in his office, staring at quarterly reports he couldn't focus on. His CFO was talking about market projections, but all Caleb could hear was Emily's voice. Your love feels like drowning. Mr. Donovan, his CFO, looked concerned. Should I come back? No. Caleb forced himself to focus. Continue. But his phone buzzed and his heart jumped. Not Emily, just Marcus with another crisis that didn't matter. He'd kept his promise. No calls, no tracking, no bodyguards stationed outside Mrs. Carter's building, though every instinct screamed at him to send them anyway. His phone rang. An actual call this time. Claire. Have you heard from her? His sister asked without preamble. No. Good, that means you're actually giving her space. It's killing me. I know. Claire's voice softened. But this is what love looks like when you're not controlling it. Caleb ended the call and returned to the reports, but the numbers blurred together. He was failing at everything that used to come easy business focus control. His phone buzzed again. This time a text from Emily's doctor. Ms. Carter missed her appointment this morning. Is she okay? Caleb's blood went cold. Emily never missed appointments. She was religious about healthcare, especially now. He started to call her, then stopped. He'd promised no contact. But what if something was wrong? What if she was sick? Hurt, bleeding? His hands shook as he typed to Dr. Chen. Can you try calling her again? I'm not supposed to reach out unless she contacts me first. 3 minutes felt like 3 hours. Then she answered, she's fine, overslept, rescheduled for tomorrow. Caleb exhaled, but the fear didn't leave. Emily never overslept. She was an early riser, had been since her waitressing days, which meant she either wasn't sleeping well or something else was wrong. He wanted to show up at her mother's apartment, wanted to see for himself that she was okay. But he'd made a promise, and breaking it now would prove everything Emily feared about him. His office door burst open, Marcus looking panicked. Sir, we have a problem. What now? Vanessa Reed just filed a defamation lawsuit. She's claiming your testimony destroyed her father's reputation without cause. Caleb barely processed the words. Handle it. Sir, she's asking for $20 million in damages and demanding you retract your statements to the press. I said handle it. Caleb's voice was flat. Get our lawyers on it. I don't care what it costs. Marcus hesitated. There's more. She's telling reporters that Emily seduced you to get revenge on wealthy families. She's calling her a gold digger who got pregnant to trap you. Now Caleb's attention snapped into focus. What? It's all over social media. There are photos of Emily at the clinic yesterday, and Vanessa's people are spinning it as... Caleb was already moving, grabbing his jacket. Where is Vanessa right now? Sir, you can't. Where is she? The plaza. She's doing a press conference in an hour. Caleb was out the door before Marcus could finish. He made it to the plaza in 12 minutes, his driver running 3 red lights. The lobby was packed with reporters. Vanessa stood at a podium perfectly styled, her smile sharp as broken glass. The truth is, she was saying Caleb Donovan was manipulated by a woman who saw an opportunity. Emily Carter came from nothing, and she used him to... That's enough, Caleb's voice cut through the crowd. Every camera swung toward him. Vanessa's smile didn't falter. Caleb, how nice of you to join us. You want to sue me, fine, but you leave Emily out of this. I'm simply telling the truth. She got pregnant too. She got pregnant because I love her and she loves me. Caleb stepped closer to the podium. And if you say one more word about her, I will bury you so deep your lawyers won't find you for years. Vanessa's composure cracked. You're threatening me in front of witnesses. I'm promising you, Caleb's voice was ice. Emily has nothing to do with your father's crimes. She was a witness, a victim. And if you use her pregnancy to score points in your pathetic lawsuit, I will make sure everyone knows exactly what kind of person you are. A reporter shouted, Mr. Donovan, is it true Miss Carter is pregnant? Caleb froze. He'd just confirmed it publicly. Emily was going to kill him. But he couldn't take it back now. Yes, and that's all I'm saying about my private life. He turned and walked out, leaving chaos behind him. His phone rang before he reached the car. Emily. His heart stopped. Hello. What did you just do? Her voice was shaking. Emily, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. You confirmed my pregnancy to the entire city. She wasn't crying, she was furious. I asked for 2 weeks, Caleb. 2 weeks to figure things out privately, and you just announced it to the world. Vanessa was attacking you. She was calling you a gold digger, saying you trapped me. So you decided to defend me without asking if I wanted to be defended. Emily's voice rose. This is exactly what I'm talking about. You don't think, you just act. And now every reporter in Chicago is going to be camped outside my mother's building. I'll send security. No. The word came out like a gunshot. No security, no bodyguards, no fixing this. You created this mess, Caleb. You deal with it. Emily, please. I need more time. Don't contact me again. The line went dead. Caleb stood on the sidewalk, reporters already swarming toward him, and realized he just made everything worse. Marcus appeared at his elbow. Sir, we need to go, now. They made it to the car as cameras flashed. Caleb's phone was exploding with calls, investors, board members, his father, Claire. He ignored them all. Take me to Mrs. Carter's building, he told the driver. Sir, Emily just said. I know what she said. Caleb's voice was hard. But reporters are going to descend on that building, and I need to make sure she's protected whether she wants me there or not. Marcus opened his mouth, then closed it. Some battles weren't worth fighting. They arrived to find 3 news vans already parked outside. Caleb's jaw clenched. Stay in the car, he told Marcus. I'm going up. She told you not to. I know. Caleb was already moving, but her safety matters more than my promise. He made it to the 3rd floor. Mrs. Carter opened the door before he could knock, her expression furious. You have a lot of nerve showing up here. I know, but there are reporters downstairs, and they're going to harass Emily if what? If you don't save her. Mrs. Carter's voice was sharp. My daughter doesn't need saving, Mr. Donovan. She needs you to respect her boundaries. I'm trying. No, you're not. You're doing exactly what she said you'd do. You're making her choices for her. Emily appeared behind her mother, and Caleb's breath caught. She looked exhausted, her eyes red from crying. You promised, she said quietly. I know. 2 weeks. You promised me 2 weeks. Emily, I'm sorry, but Vanessa was... I don't care about Vanessa. Emily's voice cracked. I care that you can't keep a simple promise. I care that the second things get hard, you revert to controlling everything. I was protecting you. I didn't ask you to protect me. Tears spilled down her cheeks. I asked you to trust me, and you failed. Again. The words hit like physical blows. What do you want me to do? Let reporters harass you. I want you to leave. Emily's voice broke completely. I want you to go back to your penthouse and your perfect life and leave me alone. Emily. She said leave. Mrs. Carter stepped between them. You heard her? Caleb looked past her to Emily, who was crying so hard she could barely stand. Every instinct screamed at him to go to her, to hold her, to fix this. But he'd already broken his promise, made things worse, proven exactly what she'd feared about him. I'm sorry, he whispered. Then he turned and walked away. He made it to the street before his phone rang. An unknown number. Mr. Donovan, this is Detective Sarah Mills, Chicago PD. We need to talk about the Carter case. Caleb's stomach dropped. What about it? New evidence suggests Vanessa Reed's father wasn't working alone. We think there's a larger network, and Emily Carter might still be in danger. The world tilted. What kind of danger? The kind where witnesses have been disappearing. I need to speak with Ms. Carter immediately. She's at her mother's apartment, 3rd floor 3C. We know we've had plainclothes officers watching the building since this morning. Caleb stopped walking. You what? For her protection. But Mr. Donovan, she can't stay there. It's too exposed. We need to move her somewhere secure. She won't listen to me. Then make her listen, because if she stays there, she's a sitting duck. The call ended. Caleb turned and ran back to the building, taking the stairs 3 at a time. He pounded on the door. Emily, open up. Mrs. Carter opened the door, angry. I told you to. There are police watching your building. Emily's in danger. Emily appeared, her face pale. What are you talking about? The case, it's bigger than we thought. The police think you're still a target. You're lying. But her voice shook. I'm not. Call Detective Sarah Mills. She'll tell you. Emily grabbed her phone with trembling hands. Caleb watched her face change as she spoke to the detective, fear replacing anger, understanding replacing defiance. She hung up. They want me in protective custody. No, Mrs. Carter's voice was firm. Absolutely not. Mom, You are not going anywhere with police we don't know. How do we know they're legitimate? How do we know this isn't another trap? Emily looked at Caleb. Is this real? Yes. He pulled out his phone, showed her the detective's credentials, the case files Marcus had sent. It's real. Then what do I do? Come home with me. The words came out before he could stop them. The penthouse is secure, 24-hour security. No one gets in without clearance. No, Emily shook her head. I can't. Emily, please. You don't understand. If I go back now, if I let you protect me again, I'll never leave. I'll disappear into your life and I'll never find myself again. You'll be alive. But will I be me? She was crying again. Or will I just be the woman Caleb Donovan keeps in a cage? The words destroyed him. I would never, you already do. Every time you make a decision for me, every time you override what I want, you put me in a cage. A beautiful, well-intentioned cage, but a cage nonetheless. Mrs. Carter stepped forward. There has to be another option. There isn't. Detective Mills had arrived, her badge visible. Mr. Carter, I understand your concerns, but Mr. Donovan's penthouse is the most secure location available. We can station officers outside, but I should trust the man who just broke his promise to me. Emily looked at Caleb. The man who can't go 3 days without trying to control my life. I'm sorry. Caleb's voice cracked. I'm so sorry. But Emily, please, I can't lose you. I can't lose our baby. Our baby. Emily's hand moved to her stomach. You really think of it that way? Of course I do. Then prove it. Prove you see me as a partner, not a problem to solve. Detective Mills cleared her throat. We need a decision. Now. Emily looked at her mother, then at Caleb, then at the detective. If I go to the penthouse, I want rules. Anything, Caleb said immediately. No, you don't get to weigh anything until you hear them. Emily's voice strengthened. My mother comes with me. She stays in the guest room, not some hotel you arrange. Second, I make my own medical decisions. You don't override my doctor. You don't hire specialists without asking. You don't schedule appointments for me. Third, when this is over, when it's safe, you let me leave again if I decide I need to. Each condition cut deeper, but Caleb nodded. Okay, say it, all of it. Your mother stays in the guest room. You make your own medical decisions. When this is over, you can leave if you want to. Emily searched his face. You're serious? Yes. Even the last part, even if it means losing me? Even then, the words tasted like death. Because you're right. Love isn't supposed to be a cage. Detective Mills shifted impatiently. Ms. Carter, we really need to move. Okay. Emily grabbed her mother's hand. Okay, we'll go. 20 minutes later, they were in Caleb's SUV, 2 police cars following. Emily sat as far from Caleb as possible, staring out the window. Mrs. Carter broke the silence. How long do we have to stay there? Until we've arrested everyone involved in the network, Detective Mills said from the front seat. Could be days, could be weeks. Emily's hand tightened on her stomach. Weeks. We're doing everything we can to expedite this, the detective assured her. They pulled into the penthouse building's underground garage. Security was tight. 3 guards checked IDs before letting them through. The elevator ride up was silent. When the doors opened to Caleb's penthouse, Emily stepped out like she was walking into a prison. The guest room is down the hall, Caleb said to Mrs. Carter. First door on the left. There's a private bathroom and I'll find it. Mrs. Carter squeezed Emily's hand, then disappeared down the hallway. Detective Mills set up a command center in the dining room. We'll have officers in the building and monitoring security feeds. You're safe here. After she left, Emily and Caleb stood in the massive living room, the silence crushing. Are you hungry? Caleb asked. I can order. Stop. Emily's voice was quiet but firm. Stop trying to fix things. Just stop. I don't know what else to do. Try being a person instead of a solution machine. She sat on the couch, exhaustion evident in every movement. Try just sitting with me without trying to make it better. Caleb sat on the opposite end of the couch, careful to keep distance between them. Minutes passed. Emily's breathing evened out. Caleb thought she might be falling asleep. Then she said, I'm scared. Of the people after you. Of you. She looked at him. I'm scared that if I stay here, I'll forget how to be strong. I'll forget how to fight for myself because you'll do it for me. I don't want you to forget. Then why do you keep taking my power away? Caleb had no answer for that. Emily curled into herself. When I found out I was pregnant, my first thought wasn't joy or fear. It was, how do I tell him without losing myself? The words cut to the bone. Emily, that's not normal, Caleb. That's not how love should feel. I know. His voice was barely a whisper. I know, and I'm trying to change, but I don't know how. Start by asking instead of assuming. Start by listening instead of fixing. Okay. Caleb took a shaky breath. Okay, I'm listening now. Emily looked at him, really looked at him. I'm terrified, not just of the people after me, but of becoming a mother. I'm terrified I'll mess this up, that I'll pass on all my fears and insecurities to this baby, that I'll be just like my father. Your father left, Caleb interrupted. You would never. You're doing it again. Emily's voice was gentle but sad. You're fixing instead of listening. Caleb forced himself to stay quiet. I'm scared, Emily continued, that this baby will grow up thinking love means control, because that's what they'll see from us. The truth of it hit Caleb like a freight train. Then we change, we show them different. Can you actually change, or are you just saying what I want to hear? I don't know. The honesty cost him everything. But I want to try. Emily's eyes filled with tears. That's the first real thing you've said to me in days. They sat in silence again, but this time it felt less heavy. Emily's phone rang, her doctor. Mrs. Carter, I got a call from a Dr. Morrison saying he's taking over your care. Did you authorize this? Emily's face went white. She looked at Caleb. Did you hire another doctor? No, I swear I didn't. Emily spoke into the phone. I didn't authorize anyone. Who is Dr. Morrison? He said Mr. Donovan arranged it. He wants to schedule an immediate ultrasound at a private clinic. I'll call you back. Emily hung up her hands shaking. Someone is pretending to be your doctor. Caleb's blood ran cold. They're trying to get you alone. He called Detective Mills immediately. Someone just tried to lure Emily to a fake clinic. We're on it. Don't leave the penthouse. Don't trust any calls or messages unless we verify them first. After hanging up, Caleb turned to Emily. I didn't hire that doctor. I promised I wouldn't, and I kept that promise. I believe you. Her voice was small. But Caleb, they know I'm pregnant. They know about my doctor. They're watching us. The fear in her eyes broke something in him. I won't let them hurt you. You can't promise that. Yes, I can. No, you can't. Emily stood pacing. You can't control everything, Caleb. You can't fight every threat. You're not invincible. I know that. Do you? Because you act like you can fix anything if you throw enough money or power at it. But some things can't be fixed. Some things just have to be survived. Mrs. Carter emerged from the hallway. Everything okay? No, Emily was shaking. Someone just tried to kidnap me using a fake doctor appointment. Mrs. Carter went pale. Oh my God. We're safe here, Caleb said. The building is secure. For now, Emily whispered, but what happens when they find another way? The question hung in the air unanswerable. That night, Emily couldn't sleep. Caleb heard her moving around in the guest room she'd insisted on using, heard her crying quietly. He stood outside her door, hand raised to knock, then lowered it. She'd asked for space, for boundaries. Barging in now would only prove she was right about him. But listening to her cry was torture. Finally, he knocked softly. Emily, can I come in? Silence, then the doors unlocked. He found her sitting on the bed, arms wrapped around herself, tears streaming down her face. I can't stop thinking about it, she whispered. What if they'd gotten me? What if I'd gone to that clinic? Caleb sat on the edge of the bed, maintaining distance. But you didn't. You're here. You're safe. Am I? Or am I just in a different kind of trap? The words hit him hard. Is that how you see this being here with me? I don't know what I see anymore. Emily wiped her eyes. I'm so tired, Caleb. Tired of being scared. Tired of fighting you. Tired of wondering if we're going to make it. We will. How do you know? Because I love you. He took a careful breath. And because for the first time in my life, I'm willing to admit I don't have all the answers. Emily looked at him, surprise flickering across her face. I don't know how to love you without trying to protect you, Caleb continued. I don't know how to watch you struggle without trying to fix it, but I'm learning that love isn't about having answers. It's about being present while we figure them out together. You mean that? Yes. His voice cracked. I'm terrified I'll lose you, but I'm more terrified of becoming the cage you can't escape. Emily reached for his hand. The touch was tentative, careful, but it was contact. I don't want to lose you either, but I can't lose myself to keep you. I know. They sat like that, hands barely touching the distance between them, still vast, but somehow less impossible. Can I ask you something? Emily said softly. Anything. Why do you do it? Why do you need to control everything? Caleb was quiet for a long moment. My mother died when I was 12. Car accident. She was driving to pick me up from school and a drunk driver ran a red light. Emily's grip on his hand tightened. I was standing outside the school for 3 hours before anyone told me what happened. I kept thinking if I just called her, asked her to leave 5 minutes earlier or later, maybe she'd have missed that intersection. Maybe she'd still be alive. Caleb, I know it's not rational, but that feeling that if I'd just done something different, I could have saved her, it never left. And then my sister Claire almost got assaulted in Paris and I wasn't there. And my best friend in college overdosed and I'd seen the signs but didn't intervene. Emily was crying now. So you decided to control everything. If I control the variables, no one gets hurt. Caleb's voice broke. But I forgot that people aren't variables. You're not a problem to solve. You're the woman I love, and I've been so busy trying to protect you that I forgot to just love you. I didn't know about your mother. I don't talk about it. Why not? Because talking about it means admitting I couldn't save her, that I'm not as powerful as I pretend to be. Emily pulled him closer. You don't have to be powerful. You just have to be real. They held each other, the barriers finally starting to crack. Outside, the city hummed with danger. But in that moment, sitting on a bed in a guest room, Caleb Donovan finally understood what Emily had been trying to tell him all along. Love wasn't about protection, it was about partnership, and he was finally ready to learn the difference. Emily woke to the sound of raised voices. For a disorienting moment, she forgot where she was, then it all came rushing back. The penthouse, the threat, Caleb's confession about his mother. She checked her phone. 3 a.m. The voices were coming from the living room. She recognized Caleb's low tone and Detective Mills's sharper one. Emily slipped out of bed and crept down the hallway. Her mother was already there, standing in her bathrobe, listening. Can't keep her locked up here indefinitely, Detective Mills was saying. We need to use her as bait. Absolutely not. Caleb's voice was ice. Mr. Donovan, with all due respect, this is a police investigation. Ms. Carter doesn't need your permission. She's pregnant and being hunted by criminals. You're not using her as bait. Emily stepped into the living room. Maybe you should ask me what I want. Both of them turned. Caleb looked exhausted, still wearing yesterday's clothes. Detective Mills looked frustrated. Emily, you should be sleeping, Caleb started. Hard to sleep when people are arguing about my life. Emily crossed her arms. What's this about using me as bait? Detective Mills pulled out a file. We've identified the network. It's bigger than we thought, 17 people, including 2 city officials and a federal judge. They've been trafficking workers for 5 years, and your testimony is the only thing that can bring them down. So use my testimony. It's not enough. We need recordings, evidence of active criminal conspiracy, which means we need them to make a move. On me, Emily finished. On you, the detective confirmed. We set up a situation where you appear vulnerable. They attempt contact, we record everything, and we have enough to arrest the entire network. Caleb moved between them. No, find another way. There is no other way. Detective Mills looked at Emily, but it's your choice, not his. The words hung in the air. Emily looked at Caleb, saw the fear in his eyes, then looked back at the detective. How would it work? Emily, no. I'm asking the detective, not you. Emily kept her eyes on Mills. How would it work? We leak that you're staying at a safe house on the south side. We make it look like police protection was reduced due to budget cuts. You go there with minimal security, and we wait for them to make contact. We'll have teams surrounding the building, surveillance everywhere. You'll be safe. Safe, Emily laughed bitterly, like I was safe when they tried to lure me to a fake clinic. This is different. We control the situation. No one controls these people, Caleb said. They've evaded police for 5 years. They've made witnesses disappear. You're asking Emily to gamble with her life and our child's life on the hope that your plan works. I'm asking her to help us stop them from hurting anyone else. Detective Mills turned to Emily. There are women out there right now being exploited, being threatened, being erased. You have the power to save them. Emily's hand moved to her stomach. How long would I have to be there? Emily, how long? She looked at the detective, not Caleb. 48 hours, maybe less if they move quickly. And you're certain I'd be safe? As certain as I can be in this line of work. Emily took a shaky breath. Can I think about it? We need an answer by morning. Every day we wait, the network gets more cautious. After the detective left, Caleb turned to Emily. You can't seriously be considering this. Why not? Because it's insane they're asking you to make yourself a target. I'm already a target. Emily's voice was calm. At least this way I could end it. Or you could end up dead. Caleb's control was slipping. Emily, please. There has to be another way. The detective said there isn't. Then we wait. We stay here until they catch these people through normal investigation. And how long will that take? Weeks, months? Emily shook her head. I can't live like this, Caleb. Looking over my shoulder, jumping at every phone call, wondering if today's the day they get to me. Mrs. Carter spoke up from the doorway. Sweetheart, he's right. It's too dangerous. You're both acting like I'm helpless. Emily's voice rose. Like I can't make my own decisions about my own safety. This isn't about control, Caleb said desperately. This is about keeping you alive. No, it's about you being terrified of losing control. Emily faced him. You can't stand the thought of me making a choice you disagree with. That's not fair. Isn't it? You just spent 20 minutes arguing with a detective about what I can and can't do with my own life. Because I love you, then trust me, Emily's voice cracked. Trust that I know what I'm doing. Trust that I'm strong enough to handle this. I do trust you. I don't trust them. It's the same thing. Emily sat down suddenly exhausted. You say you trust me, but then you override every decision I make. You say I'm strong, but then you treat me like I'm made of glass. Caleb knelt in front of her. You're carrying our child. You think I can just let you walk into danger? You don't get to let me do anything. That's the whole point. Emily's eyes filled with tears. I'm not asking your permission. I'm telling you what I'm considering. And I'm telling you it's a terrible idea. Noted, Emily wiped her eyes. But it's still my choice. The standoff was broken by Emily's phone ringing. Her real doctor this time. Mrs. Carter, I'm sorry to call so late, but your lab results came back. We need to talk. Emily's face went white. What's wrong? Your iron levels are extremely low. Combined with the stress you're under, I'm concerned about the pregnancy. Caleb watched Emily's hand shake as she gripped the phone. What does that mean? It means you need to reduce stress immediately and start iron supplements. If these levels don't improve, we may need to consider hospitalization. After the call ended, Emily sat frozen. That's it, Caleb said quietly. You're not doing the sting operation. The stress alone could hurt the baby. Don't, Emily's voice was sharp. Don't use my pregnancy to manipulate me. I'm not manipulating you. I'm stating facts. The doctor just said stress is dangerous. And being hunted by criminals isn't stressful. Hiding in your penthouse isn't stressful. Emily stood. At least the sting operation gives me some control over the situation. It gives you the illusion of control while actually putting you in more danger. You don't know that. Yes, I do, Caleb's composure finally shattered. I know because I've seen what these people do. I've seen the bodies, read the reports, heard the testimonies. They don't make mistakes, Emily. They don't leave witnesses alive. Then why am I still here? The question stopped him cold. If they're so efficient, so deadly, why haven't they gotten to me yet? Emily's voice was steady now. Maybe because they know I'm protected. Maybe because going after me publicly would expose them. But if we set a trap, if we make them think they have an opening, they'll take it, Caleb finished. And even with police protection, things can go wrong. People can die. I know. Emily met his eyes. But I also know I can't live in fear forever. And I can't raise a child in a world where I'm always looking over my shoulder. Mrs. Carter cleared her throat. Maybe we should all get some sleep. This conversation isn't going anywhere productive at 3 in the morning. I can't sleep, Emily said, not with this decision hanging over me. Caleb sat beside him. Then let's talk it through. Really talk, not argue. Emily looked surprised. Okay. If you do this, Caleb started carefully, what's the worst case scenario? They kill me. The bluntness made him flinch. In the best case, we catch them all. I get my life back. Our baby grows up safe. What about middle scenarios? Things that could go wrong but aren't worst case, Emily thought. They could hurt me but not kill me. They could escape. She stopped. They could find out I'm pregnant and use it against me. Help threaten the baby. Use it as leverage. Caleb's jaw clenched. Then we don't do it. Or we do it carefully, with precautions. There's no such thing as careful when dealing with killers, Emily. There's no such thing as safe either. She turned to face him. Not really. Even here in your fortress, with guards and cameras and Detective Mills watching everything, we're still not truly safe. Are we? Caleb wanted to lie to promise her safety, but he'd just sworn to be honest. No, we're not. Then at least let me choose my risk instead of having risk choose me. The logic was sound and Caleb hated it. What if I can't survive watching you do this? Then you'll have to decide if you trust me enough to try. They sat in silence. Mrs. Carter had disappeared back to bed. The city outside was dark and quiet soon. Tell me about the baby, Caleb said finally. What did the doctor say before the lab results? How far along are you exactly? Emily's hand moved to her stomach. 9 weeks now. Heartbeat strong. Everything looked good on the ultrasound except the iron levels. You had an ultrasound without me. It wasn't an accusation, just a statement. I didn't think you'd want to be there. Why not? Because I'd hidden the pregnancy from you. I thought you'd be angry. I was hurt, Caleb admitted, but I would have wanted to be there anyway. I'm sorry. Emily's voice was small. I'm sorry I hid it. I'm sorry I made you find out from a test in the trash. I was scared and confused and I handled it badly. I understand why you were scared. Caleb took her hand carefully. I haven't given you many reasons to trust me with important things. You're trying now. That counts for something. Is it enough? Emily was quiet for a long moment. I don't know yet, but it's a start. Caleb's phone buzzed. Marcus with an urgent message. Vanessa Reed was just arrested. Evidence of witness tampering and conspiracy. Thought you should know. He showed Emily the message. 1 down. How many to go? 16, apparently. Emily closed her eyes. 16 people who want me dead or silent. Not all of them. Some just want to avoid prison. You're collateral damage to them, not a primary target. That's supposed to be comforting. No, it's supposed to be realistic. Emily's phone rang again. Detective Mills. We have a development. Vanessa Reed is cooperating. She's giving us names, locations, communications. This could break the whole case open. So Emily doesn't need to be bait, Caleb said quickly. I didn't say that. Reed's information is valuable, but we still need active conspiracy evidence. However it might mean we can move faster, reduce the window of exposure. How much faster? Emily asked. 24 hours instead of 48. Maybe less. After the call, Emily looked at Caleb. 24 hours. I could do that. Emily. 1 day, that's all. And then this nightmare is over. Or it gets worse. It can't get worse than living in constant fear. Emily's voice was firm now. I'm doing it, Caleb. I'm helping them set the trap. When Detective Mills said they could have everything ready by tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, less than 24 hours away. Caleb felt his control slipping, felt the old urge to lock Emily away, to make the decision for her to keep her safe whether she wanted it or not. But he'd promised to let her choose. Okay, he managed. Okay, if that's what you've decided. Emily looked shocked. You're not going to fight me. I want to. Every instinct I have is screaming at me to fight you on this. But you're right, it's your choice. The words tasted like poison. Just promise me one thing. What? If anything feels wrong, if you get scared, if something happens that the police didn't plan for, you run. You don't be brave, you don't try to help, you just run. Caleb, Promise me, Emily, that's the only way I can survive this, knowing you'll prioritize survival over heroics. Emily studied his face. I promise. Say it all. If anything feels wrong, I'll run. I won't try to be a hero. Caleb pulled her close, careful and gentle. I can't lose you. I can't lose either of you. You won't. But Emily's voice shook. We're going to be okay. Neither of them believed it. The next day moved too fast. Detective Mills arrived with a team to brief Emily on the plan. The safe house was a small apartment in Bridgeport deliberately chosen for its limited exits and clear sightlines. We'll have surveillance on every entrance, Mills explained. Officers in adjacent buildings, unmarked cars on the street. The moment anyone approaches, we move in. And if they don't approach, Mrs. Carter asked. They will. We're leaking information that Emily's police protection was pulled due to budget constraints. We're making her look vulnerable. Because she is vulnerable, Caleb said coldly. She's bait in a controlled environment. There's a difference. Emily was quiet through the whole briefing, her hand never leaving her stomach. When the detective left to coordinate logistics, Mrs. Carter pulled Emily aside. You don't have to do this. I know. Then why are you? Because I'm tired of being afraid, Mom. Tired of letting other people's violence control my life. But the baby deserves a mother who's brave enough to fight back. Emily's voice cracked. I don't want to raise a child who learns that hiding is the only option. Mrs. Carter pulled her into a hug. Your father would be proud of you. Emily stiffened. Dad left us. Why would I care what he thinks? Because despite everything, part of you still does. Mrs. Carter pulled back. He left because he was a coward, Emily. Don't let his cowardice make you feel like you need to prove you're brave. This isn't about him, isn't it? You've spent your whole life trying to be the opposite of what he was. Strong instead of weak, brave instead of cowardly, present instead of absent. Mrs. Carter's voice softened. But sometimes the bravest thing is protecting yourself instead of proving something. The words hit harder than Emily expected. What if you're right? What if I'm doing this for the wrong reasons? Then don't do it. But what if I'm doing it for the right reasons and you're just scared? Mrs. Carter had no answer for that. That evening, Caleb found Emily packing a small bag. Mills said to bring minimal belongings, nothing that looks like I'm settling in. You're really doing this. I really am. Emily folded a sweater carefully. Are you going to try to stop me? No. Caleb leaned against the doorframe. But I am going to be in one of those unmarked cars, close enough to reach you if something goes wrong. Detective Mills won't allow that. Detective Mills doesn't get a vote. I'll park a block away if I have to, but I'm not sitting here while you walk into danger. Emily turned to face him. That defeats the whole purpose of me making my own choices. You're choosing to do the sting. I'm choosing to be nearby. We're both making choices. Your choice undermines mine. How I won't interfere with the operation. I won't contact you or try to control what happens. I'll just be close enough to help if you need me. Emily wanted to argue, but she saw the desperation in his eyes. 1 block away. No closer. Deal. And if Detective Mills tells you to leave, you leave. Caleb hesitated, then nodded. Okay. Promise me. I promise. And Emily went back to packing, but her hands were shaking. Caleb noticed. You don't have to be brave every second, he said quietly. You're allowed to be scared. If I let myself be scared, I'll fall apart. Emily zipped the bag. And I can't afford to fall apart. Not now. Why not? I'm here. Your mom's here. We'll catch you. That's the problem. Emily's voice broke. If I fall, I don't know if I can get back up. And I need to get back up. For the baby, for me, for us. Caleb moved closer. What if falling apart is part of getting back up? What if you don't have to be strong all the time? I don't know how to not be strong. Tears spilled down Emily's cheeks. Being strong is all I know. It's how I survived growing up poor, how I survived losing Dad, how I survived working 3 jobs while Mom was sick. If I'm not strong, who am I? You're Emily, the woman I love, the mother of my child, the bravest person I know. Caleb wiped her tears gently. And being brave, it doesn't mean never being afraid. It means being afraid and doing it anyway. Then I'm terrified. The confession burst out of her. I'm terrified of tomorrow, of the people who want to hurt me, of bringing a child into this mess. I'm terrified of failing, of dying, of leaving this baby without a mother. I know. Caleb held her carefully. I'm terrified too. They stood like that, holding each other, both shaking with fear neither of them could control. Mrs. Carter knocked softly. Emily, Detective Mills is on the phone. She wants to go over the timeline one more time. Emily pulled away, wiping her eyes. Tell her I'll call her back in 5 minutes. After her mother left, Emily looked at Caleb. Thank you. For what? For not trying to fix this, for just being here. I'm learning. His smile was sad. Slowly, but I'm learning. Emily's phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. We know what you're planning. Call it off or everyone you love dies. The blood drained from her face. She showed Caleb the message. He immediately called Detective Mills. They know. Someone leaked the operation. Mills arrived within minutes, her team running traces on the number. It's a burner phone, untraceable. So we call it off, Caleb said. No. Emily's voice was steady despite her fear. This proves they're watching, which means the trap will work. Or it means they're one step ahead, Mills countered. Mr. Donovan's right. We should abort. And then what? We wait for them to make the first move? We stay locked in this penthouse forever. Emily shook her head. No, we go forward, but we change the plan. How? We don't leak that protection was reduced. We leak that I'm testifying before a grand jury tomorrow. They'll have to move tonight to stop me. Mills considered. That accelerates everything. Gives them less time to plan, but also gives us less time to prepare. Can you do it? Yes, but Emily, if we move this fast, there's more room for error. I know. Emily's hand moved to her stomach. But at least it ends tonight, one way or another. Caleb felt like his heart was being ripped out. Emily, I've made up my mind. She looked at him. Are you with me or not? He wanted to scream no, wanted to lock her in the penthouse and throw away the key, wanted to control the situation until she was safe. But he'd promised. He'd promised to trust her. I'm with you, he said, always. Detective Mills pulled out her phone. Then we have 3 hours to set this up. Let's move. The safe house smelled like mold and old coffee. Emily stood in the middle of the small living room, trying not to think about how exposed she felt. 2 windows overlooking the street. A flimsy door with a lock that looked like it could be kicked in by a child. This is your idea of secure, Mrs. Carter's voice was sharp. Detective Mills adjusted the camera hidden in the smoke detector. It's supposed to look vulnerable, that's the point. My daughter is pregnant and being hunted. I don't care about the point. Mom, it's okay. Emily's voice was steadier than she felt. They know what they're doing. Do they? Mrs. Carter looked at the detective. Because from where I'm standing, this looks like a death trap. Mills finished with the camera and turned. Mrs. Carter, I have 17 officers surrounding this building. Snipers on the roofs. Surveillance in every direction. The moment anyone suspicious approaches, we move in. And if they get to her before you can move, they won't. You can't promise that. No, Mills admitted, but I can promise we'll do everything in our power to keep her safe. Emily's phone buzzed. Caleb, I'm in position, 1 block east. I can see your building. She texted back, stay there, don't move. Only if you promise to run if things go wrong. I promised already. Promise again. Emily smiled despite her fear. I promise. Again. Mills checked her watch. The leak went out 20 minutes ago. If they're going to move, it'll be soon. How soon? Emily asked. Could be an hour. Could be 3. These operations require patience. Well, Mrs. Carter sat on the worn couch. I'm not leaving. Ma'am, you need to. I said I'm not leaving. Mrs. Carter's tone left no room for argument. That's my daughter. I stay. Mills looked like she wanted to argue, then sighed. Fine, but you follow my orders exactly. When I say move, you move. Understood. Emily sat beside her mother, and they waited. 15 minutes passed. Emily's hands stayed on her stomach, feeling for movement, even though she knew it was too early. The baby was the size of a grape, the internet had said. Tiny, fragile, completely dependent on her to stay alive. What are you thinking about? Mrs. Carter asked quietly. How I used to dream about having kids someday. A house with a backyard, a normal life. Emily's voice was soft. This isn't how I imagined it. Life rarely is. Were you scared when you were pregnant with me? Terrified. Mrs. Carter took her hand. Your father was already drinking by then. I knew he wasn't reliable, but I didn't know he'd leave. I was 23, working 2 jobs, living in a studio apartment with a leaky ceiling. But you kept me. Not a day of doubt. Mrs. Carter squeezed her hand. You were mine, and I was going to protect you no matter what. Even though Dad left. Especially because Dad left, I had to be strong enough for both of us. Emily's eyes filled with tears. I don't know if I can be that strong. You already are. You've been that strong your whole life. Detective Mills' radio crackled. We have movement, black sedan, 2 occupants, circling the block. Emily's heart jumped into her throat. Is it them? Unknown. Hold position. The sedan passed by the window. Emily caught a glimpse of 2 men in the front seat, both wearing dark clothes. They're scoping it out, Mills said into her radio. All units maintain cover. Do not engage unless they approach the building. The sedan circled again. Slower this time. Emily's phone buzzed. Caleb, I see them. 2 men armed. This is wrong, Emily. Get out now. She texted back, Detective Mills says hold position. I don't care what she says. Get out. Caleb trusts the plan. I trust you. I don't trust them. The sedan parked across the street. Mills spoke urgently into her radio. We have a stop. License plate Charlie Romeo 7942. Run it now. Emily watched the men through the window. They were just sitting there talking. One was on a phone. Plate comes back to a rental company. Mills's radio crackled. Rented this morning with a fake ID. That's them, Mills said. Everyone ready. They're about to make their move. But the men didn't move. They just sat in the car watching the building. 5 minutes passed, then 10. What are they waiting for? Mrs. Carter whispered. They're being careful, Mills answered, making sure it's not a trap. It is a trap. They don't know that. Yet. Emily's phone rang. Unknown number. She looked at Mills, who nodded and started recording. Hello, Emily Carter, a man's voice. Smooth, educated. Who is this? Someone who wants to help you. Those men in the car across the street, they're not here to talk. They're here to kill you. Emily's blood went cold. Up to you. How do you know about them? Because I sent them, but I'm calling to give you a chance. Mills was frantically signaling her team, trying to trace the call. A chance to do what? Emily asked. Disappear. We'll pay you $2 million. You leave Chicago tonight, never testify, never speak about what you saw. You and your baby live comfortably somewhere far away. And if I say no, then those men come inside, and you know what happens next. Emily's hand shook. I need time to think. You have 30 seconds. That's not enough. 28 seconds. Mills was shaking her head frantically, signaling Emily to stall. I need to know you're serious, Emily said. Then, $2 million is a lot of money. How do I know you'll actually pay? Because keeping you quiet is worth more than killing you. But I need an answer. 15 seconds. Let me talk to Caleb. He handles our finances. I can't make this decision without him. 10 seconds, Ms. Carter. Yes or no? Emily looked at Mills, who mouthed the word stall. Yes, Emily said. Yes, I'll take the money. Silence on the other end. Then, smart choice. The men in the car will leave. You'll receive instructions within the hour. Follow them exactly or the deal is off. The line went dead. Mills was already on her radio. Did we get the trace? Negative. Call was routed through multiple servers. Could be anywhere. The sedan across the street started its engine and drove away. What just happened? Mrs. Carter demanded. They tested her, Mills said, and she passed. Passed, Emily's voice rose. I just agreed to take a bribe and run away. No, you bought us time. They think you're cooperative now. They'll let their guard down. Or they'll realize it was a trap and come back with more men. Emily was shaking. Detective, this is falling apart. No, this is working. We got them on tape attempting to bribe a witness. That's conspiracy right there. Emily's phone buzzed. A text from the unknown number. Leave your mother at the safe house. Come alone to the corner of Halsted and 31st. 5 minutes. Come alone or the deal is off. Mills read the message over Emily's shoulder. Absolutely not. You're not going alone. If I don't go, we lose them. If you do go, you could die. Can you follow me without them seeing? Not in 5 minutes. That's not enough time to reposition. Then I'm going alone. Emily stood. This is what we planned. I'm the bait. The plan was to lure them here where we control the environment, not to send you out on the street. Plans change. Emily grabbed her jacket. Are you coming or not? Mills made a split-second decision. I'm coming, but my team will be 30 seconds behind us. You do nothing without my signal. Mom, stay here. Emily hugged Mrs. Carter. If something happens, nothing is going to happen. If it does, tell Caleb I love him. Tell him I'm sorry for everything. Emily. But Emily was already out the door, Mills right behind her. The street was dark and quiet. Emily's footsteps echoed on the pavement. She could feel eyes watching her, but she didn't know if they were the police or the criminals. Halsted and 31st was 3 blocks away. Emily walked fast, her heart hammering. Her phone buzzed. Caleb. Where are you going? I see you walking. Stop. She texted back. Can't stop. Trust me. Emily, I'm coming to get you. No, stay where you are. I need you to stay. I can't just watch you walk into danger. You promised, 1 block away, don't move. She silenced her phone and kept walking. 2 blocks. Her breathing was ragged. The baby. She had to think about the baby. Had to stay calm for the baby. But she wasn't calm. She was terrified. 1 block. She could see the corner now. A black van was parked there, engine running. Detective Mills's voice crackled in the tiny earpiece Emily was wearing. I see the van. Do not get inside. Repeat, do not get inside. Emily stopped 10 feet from the van. The side door slid open. A man she didn't recognize sat inside. Miss Carter, get in. Not until you show me the money, but the money comes after you're secured. Then I'm not getting in. The man smiled. You really think you have a choice? 2 more men appeared from the shadows behind Emily. She was surrounded. Get in the van, Miss Carter. Now. Emily's mind raced. She'd promised Caleb she'd run if things went wrong. But she was surrounded. Running would get her shot. Okay, she said. Okay, I'm getting in. Mills's voice in her ear. Emily, don't. Emily pulled out the earpiece and dropped it, crushing it under her shoe. Then she climbed into the van. The door slammed shut. The van started moving. Emily looked at the man across from her. Where are we going? Somewhere we can talk privately. We can talk here. No, we can't. Your police friends are trying to follow us right now, but don't worry, we'll lose them. The van made a series of rapid turns. Emily tried to track where they were going, but she lost her bearings quickly. After 10 minutes, the van stopped. The door opened and Emily was pulled out into a parking garage. This way. The man gripped her arm, not violently but firmly. They walked to a service elevator. Emily's phone buzzed in her pocket, but she didn't dare look at it. The elevator descended. Down, down, down. Emily counted 3 sub-levels before they finally stopped. The doors opened onto a basement corridor. Concrete walls, flickering lights, no windows. Keep walking. Emily's fear was morphing into something else. Anger. These men had threatened her, hunted her, torn apart her life, and now they thought they could buy her silence. They entered a large room, empty except for a metal table and 2 chairs. Sit, Emily sat. The man sat across from her own. Let's be clear about something, Ms. Carter. You're not leaving this room until we have an agreement. I already agreed on the phone. That was before you destroyed your earpiece. Did you really think we wouldn't notice the police wire? Emily's stomach dropped. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't insult my intelligence. The man leaned forward. You've been working with the police from the beginning, which means you were never going to take our money, which means we have a problem. If you're going to kill me, just do it. Emily's voice was steadier than she felt. I'm tired of being threatened. I'm not going to kill you, not yet. The man smiled. First, you're going to call Detective Mills. You're going to tell her you're fine, and you're going to convince her to call off her dogs. Then we're going to have a real conversation about what happens next. And if I don't... The man pulled out a tablet and turned it toward Emily. On the screen was a live feed of the safe house. Mrs. Carter was visible through the window sitting on the couch. Your mother is still at the location you left her, alone, unprotected. It would be very easy for something to happen to her. Emily's world tilted. You said you weren't going to kill me. I said, not yet. Your mother, on the other hand, that's negotiable. You're bluffing. The police are watching that building. Are they, or did they all follow you when you left? The man's smile widened. Make the call, Miss Carter, or I make a different call and your mother dies. Emily's hands shook as she pulled out her phone. She had 2 missed calls from Caleb, 3 from Mills, and a text from her mother. Where are you? The police left. I'm alone. The terror that hit her was absolute. They'd left her mother unprotected. Put it on speaker, the man said. Call Mills. Emily dialed. Dial. Mills answered on the first ring. Emily, where are you? We lost the van. I'm fine. Emily forced her voice to stay calm. I'm with them, and we're talking. Call off your team. I can't do that. Tell me where you are. I can't, but I'm safe. They're offering me the deal, and I'm considering it. Emily, that's not the plan. Plans change. Emily looked at the man across from her. I need you to trust me. Pull back your team. Give me space to negotiate. Absolutely not. Emily, if you're in danger, say the word breakfast. Emily's mind raced. If she said breakfast, Mills would know she was in trouble, but they'd storm in without knowing where her mother was, without knowing how many men were involved. And her mother would die. I'm not in danger, Emily said, but my mother is alone at the safe house. Someone needs to get to her, now. There was a pause. Then Mills said, I'll send a unit. But Emily, just protect my mother, please. Emily hung up. The man looked satisfied. Good. Now we can really talk. About what you've already won. Not yet. You're still alive, which means you're still valuable, to me or to the police. He leaned back. Here's what's going to happen. You're going to make a video. In this video, you'll recant your testimony. You'll say you were confused, traumatized, mistaken. You'll apologize for the trouble you've caused. No one will believe that. They don't have to believe it. They just have to see it. Once it's public, your credibility is destroyed. Even if you try to testify later, a good lawyer will tear you apart on the stand. And then you let me go. Then we see how useful you can be going forward. Emily's jaw clenched. You want me to work for you? I want you to understand your new reality. You're not a witness anymore, Ms. Carter. You're leverage against Caleb Donovan, against the police, against anyone who thinks they can touch our operation. Caleb will come for me. I'm counting on it. The man's smile was cruel. Your boyfriend is emotional, reckless. When he finds out we have you, he'll do something stupid. And when he does, we'll have him too. Emily's phone buzzed. A text from Caleb. I'm tracking your phone. Hold on, I'm coming. Her heart stopped. He was tracking her, which meant these men could see it too if they checked. Give me your phone, the man said. Why, because I don't trust you. Give it to me now. Emily handed it over. The man looked at the screen, saw Caleb's message, and his expression darkened. He's tracking you. He stood. How long has he been tracking you? I don't know. How long? The man's voice rose. Since I left the safe house, probably. He has access to my location. The man swore viciously. Get her out of here. We're moving. Now. 2 men grabbed Emily's arms and hauled her up. They moved fast back to the elevator, back up to the garage. But when the elevator doors opened, Caleb was standing there. No bodyguards, no police. Just him holding a gun Emily didn't know he owned. Let her go. His voice was deadly calm. The man behind Emily laughed. Caleb Donovan, right on time. I said let her go. Or what you'll shoot in a parking garage with security cameras everywhere. That's not your style. You don't know my style. Caleb's hand didn't shake. You don't know what I'm capable of when someone threatens the woman I love. The woman you love is carrying your child. Are you really willing to risk a shootout that could get her killed? Caleb's jaw clenched. He hadn't known Emily was this close. Hadn't known she was in the line of fire. Smart man. The man behind Emily pressed something cold against her ribs. A gun. Now lower your weapon or I put a bullet in her right here. Caleb, don't. Emily's voice cut through. Don't give them what they want. I'm not losing you. You won't, but you have to trust me. I do trust you, but I'm not walking away. The man pressed the gun harder into Emily's side. Touching. But your time's up. Lower the gun or she dies. Caleb looked at Emily. Their eyes met across the garage. And in that moment, Emily knew what she had to do. She went completely limp, dropping her full weight toward the ground. The man holding her wasn't expecting it. His grip loosened for just a second. It was enough. Emily twisted, driving her elbow into his ribs. The gun clattered to the concrete. She dove for it, but another man grabbed her hair, yanking her back. Then Caleb was moving. He didn't fire his gun. Instead, he used it like a club, slamming it into the nearest man's face. The man went down hard. "Emily, run!" Caleb shouted. But Emily couldn't run. The man had her hair wrapped around his fist, was dragging her backward toward the van. Sirens erupted in the distance. Someone had called the police. The man holding Emily swore. "Everyone out, now." He shoved Emily hard. She fell, hitting the concrete with her hands and knees. Pain shot through her, sharp and terrible. The baby. She'd landed on her stomach. On the baby. Caleb was at her side instantly. "Emily, Emily, look at me." She couldn't breathe, couldn't think past the pain and the fear. "The baby," she gasped. "Caleb, the baby." "You're okay, you're both okay." But his voice was shaking. The parking garage was chaos. Men running, engines starting, tires squealing. And then Detective Mills was there with a dozen officers' weapons drawn. "Secure the perimeter, no one leaves this garage." But Emily barely heard her. She was curled on the cold concrete, Caleb's arms around her, praying that the pain she felt didn't mean what she feared it meant. An ambulance arrived. Paramedics lifted her onto a stretcher. "I'm 9 weeks pregnant," she told them through tears. I fell on my stomach." "We're going to take care of you," a paramedic assured her. "Just stay calm." But Emily couldn't stay calm because she'd broken her promise to Caleb. She'd tried to be a hero instead of running, and now she might lose everything because of it. The emergency room lights were too bright. Emily lay on a hospital bed, Caleb gripping her hand so tightly she could feel her bones grinding together, but she didn't ask him to let go. A doctor was doing an ultrasound, the wand pressing cold against Emily's abdomen. The silence was unbearable. "Please," Emily whispered, "please tell me my baby's okay." The doctor's eyes were fixed on the screen. Seconds felt like hours. Then Emily heard it, a rapid thumping sound, fast and strong. "That's the heartbeat," the doctor said, "strong and steady." Emily's sob was half relief, half disbelief. "The baby's alive. Very much alive." The doctor smiled. "You're lucky, Miss Carter. The fall could have caused complications, but everything looks normal. No bleeding, no distress. Your baby is a fighter." Caleb's head dropped onto Emily's shoulder, and she felt his tears against her neck. "Thank you," he said, his voice broken. "Thank you." The doctor left to get discharge papers, and Emily turned to Caleb. His face was devastated. "I almost lost you both," he said. "When I saw you fall, when I heard you say the baby, I thought." "I know." Emily cupped his face. "I know. You promised me you'd run. You promised if things went wrong, you'd run." "I tried, but Caleb, they had my mom. They were watching her. If I'd run, they would have killed her." "So you risked yourself instead." His voice cracked. "You risked our baby." The accusation stung because it was true. "I didn't know what else to do." "You should have trusted the police. You should have trusted me." Caleb pulled away. "Instead, you made the same decision I always make. You decided you knew best, and you acted alone." Emily's throat tightened. "You're right." "What?" "You're right. I did exactly what you do. I saw a problem, and I tried to fix it myself instead of trusting anyone else." Tears spilled down her cheeks. "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." Caleb stared at her, then pulled her close again. "We're both terrible at this." "At what?" "At trusting each other, at not trying to save each other alone." He kissed her forehead. "But we have to get better. For this baby, we have to learn." Mrs. Carter burst into the room, her face wild with fear. "Emily, they told me you were hurt." "I'm okay, Mom. We're okay." Mrs. Carter grabbed her daughter, holding her tight. "When the police came and said you'd been taken, that Caleb had gone after you alone, I thought I'd lost you. You didn't. I'm here. Don't ever do that again." Mrs. Carter was crying now. "Don't ever scare me like that again." Detective Mills appeared in the doorway. "Miss Carter, I need to ask you some questions." "Can it wait?" Caleb's voice was hard. "No, it can't. We have 12 people in custody, but the leader escaped. We need Emily's statement while the details are fresh." Emily sat up slowly. "What do you need to know?" Everything, starting with the phone call offering you money. Emily recounted it all: the bribe, the demand she come alone, the van, the basement, the threat against her mother. Mills recorded every word. The man who questioned you, can you describe him? 50s, gray hair, expensive suit. He acted like he was in charge. That matches Senator Harrison's chief of staff, Richard Moss. Mills showed her a photo. Is this him? Emily's blood went cold. Yes, that's him. We've been trying to connect Moss to the trafficking ring for months. Your testimony just gave us what we need. Mills pocketed her phone. He'll be in custody by morning. What about the others, the ones who escaped? We'll find them, but Emily, you need to understand this isn't over. Even with Moss arrested, there are still people out there who want you silenced. For how long? Until the trial. Could be 6 months, could be a year. Emily's hand moved to her stomach. I'll be showing by then. Everyone will know I'm pregnant. We can arrange protection. No, Emily's voice was firm. No more hiding, no more safe houses or bodyguards or pretending to be someone I'm not. Emily, be reasonable. I am being reasonable. These people have controlled my life for months. They've made me afraid to exist. I'm done with that. She looked at Caleb. We're done with that. Caleb nodded slowly. What are you suggesting? We live our lives publicly. We don't hide the pregnancy. We don't run. We show them they didn't win. That's incredibly dangerous, Emil said. So is living in fear. Emily's voice was steady. I'd rather be visible and alive than hidden and half dead. Mills looked at Caleb. You agree with this? It's not my decision. Caleb met Emily's eyes. It's hers, and I trust her. The words hung between them, heavy with meaning. Mills sighed. Fine, but I'm assigning a security detail whether you like it or not, non-negotiable. Okay, Emily smiled slightly. But can they be less obvious than the last ones? After Mills left, the doctor returned with discharge papers. You are free to go, but I want you on bed rest for 48 hours. No stress, no excitement, just rest. I can do that. Emily accepted the papers, but her hands were shaking. Caleb noticed. What's wrong? I just realized we don't have anywhere to go. The safe house is compromised. Your penthouse is probably being watched. Then we'll go somewhere new. Caleb pulled out his phone. I'll have Marcus arrange. No. Emily stopped him. No more having people arrange things. Let's figure this out ourselves. Caleb lowered his phone. Okay, what do you want to do? I want to go somewhere quiet, somewhere normal, not a penthouse or a mansion, just a place where we can breathe. Mrs. Carter spoke up. I have a friend with a cabin in Wisconsin, 2 hours north. She never uses it this time of year. Emily looked at Caleb. Can you take a few days away from work? Emily, I'd take the rest of my life away from work if it meant keeping you safe. I don't need you to keep me safe. I need you to be with me. There's a difference. Caleb smiled, and for the first time in days, it reached his eyes. Then let's go to Wisconsin. They left the hospital at midnight. Caleb drove his own car, no driver, no security detail trailing them. Just the three of them heading north on empty highways. Emily dozed in the passenger seat, exhausted. Mrs. Carter sat in the back watching the city lights fade into darkness. Thank you, Caleb said quietly to Mrs. Carter. For the cabin, for everything. Don't thank me yet. It's rustic, no fancy amenities. Good. Emily's right, we need normal. Can you do normal, Mr. Donovan? It's not exactly your natural habitat. Caleb glanced at Emily's sleeping form. I can learn. They arrived at the cabin just after 2 in the morning. It was small, wooden, surrounded by trees. No neighbors in sight. Emily woke as they pulled up. We're here, Duaco. Inside the cabin was exactly as Mrs. Carter had described, rustic. 1 bedroom, a pull-out couch, a kitchen that looked like it hadn't been updated since the 70s. It's perfect, Emily said. Caleb looked around at the peeling wallpaper and ancient appliances. It's small. It's perfect, Emily repeated. No marble counters, no floor-to-ceiling windows, no cameras, just us. Mrs. Carter yawned. I'm taking the couch. You two take the bedroom. Mom, you should have the bed. Emily, I'm 53, not ancient. I can handle a couch for a few nights. Mrs. Carter was already pulling out blankets. Go, rest, both of you. The bedroom was tiny, barely big enough for the double bed that dominated it. Emily sat on the edge, suddenly awkward. I can sleep on the floor if you want, Caleb offered. Don't be ridiculous. Emily patted the space beside her. We can share. They lay down on careful not to touch the space between them, feeling miles wide. Finally, Caleb spoke. I was so scared today. Me too. When I saw you fall, when I thought I'd lost you both. His voice broke. Emily, I can't do this without you. I know I'm supposed to be strong and in control, but the truth is you're the only thing that makes sense in my life. Emily turned to face him. I'm scared too. Scared of being a mother, scared of not being enough. Scared that loving you means losing myself. It doesn't. I won't let it. You can't promise that. Yes, I can, because I finally understand what you've been trying to tell me. Caleb took her hand. Love isn't about control. It's about choice. And every day I choose you. Not because I have to, but because I want to. I choose you too. Emily's voice was soft. Even when you drive me crazy. Even when you try to manage my life. I choose you. They fell asleep like that, hands intertwined, the distance between them finally closed. Emily woke to sunlight streaming through thin curtains and the smell of coffee. She found Caleb in the kitchen, attempting to make breakfast. Is that supposed to be scrambled eggs? She asked, eyeing the pan. I'm trying. They're brown. I know. Caleb looked helplessly at the stove. I don't know how to cook. I've always had chefs. Emily laughed, really laughed for the first time in weeks. Move over, let me show you. They cooked together, bumping elbows in the tiny kitchen, and it felt more intimate than any fancy dinner ever had. Mrs. Carter emerged, took one look at them, laughing over burnt eggs, and smiled. I'm going for a walk. Give you two some privacy. After she left, Emily and Caleb sat at the small table, eating their salvaged breakfast. This is nice, Emily said. Normal. Is this what you want? After everything settles down? I don't know. I haven't let myself think that far ahead. Emily set down her fork. What do you want? You, this baby, a life that isn't controlled by fear or power or money. Caleb took a breath. I want to be the man you deserve, Emily. Not the man who tries to own you, but the man who stands beside you. Can you really do that? Give up control. I'm learning. It's hard, but I'm learning. He reached across the table. Will you help me learn? On one condition. Anything. You let me help you too. We figure this out together. No more secrets, no more hiding things to protect each other. Complete honesty even when it's hard. Deal. Caleb squeezed her hand. Complete honesty. Emily took a deep breath. Then I need to tell you something, and you're not going to like it. His expression tensed. What? I've been thinking about the trial, about testifying. She met his eyes. I want to do it. Not because I have to, but because those women deserve justice. And I'm the only one who can give it to them. Emily, you promised to listen, to let me make my own choices. Caleb closed his eyes. You're right, I did. So you'll support me even though you disagree. I'll support you, even though I'm terrified. He opened his eyes. But I need something from you too. What? Marry me. Emily's heart stopped. What? Marry me, Baye, not because of the baby, not because of the danger, but because I love you and I want to spend every day choosing you. Caleb slid off his chair, kneeling beside the table. I don't have a ring. I don't have a plan. I just have this moment in the certainty that I want you in my life forever. Emily's eyes filled with tears. Caleb, you don't have to answer now. You don't even have to say yes. I just needed you to know yes. He froze. Yes. Yes, I'll marry you. Emily laughed through her tears. You insufferable, controlling, wonderful man. Yes. Caleb pulled her into his arms, and they stayed like that, holding each other in a tiny cabin kitchen, the world outside forgotten. Mrs. Carter returned an hour later to find them planning a wedding. Nothing big, Emily was saying. Just us and the people we love. I can do small. Caleb was taking notes on a napkin. My sister Marcus, your mom, and my nursing school friends, and some of the workers from the restaurant where we met. Whatever you want. Mrs. Carter cleared her throat. I hate to interrupt, but Detective Mills just called. They arrested Richard Moss. He's cooperating. Emily looked up. Cooperating how? He's giving them everyone. Names, locations, bank accounts. In exchange for a reduced sentence, he's burning down the entire network. It's over. Emily could barely believe it. It's really over. The immediate threat is, but the trial will still take months. You'll still need to testify. I can handle that. Emily looked at Caleb. We can handle that. 3 weeks later, Emily stood in front of a judge in a small courtroom, Caleb beside her, and spoke her truth. She told them about the exploitation, the threats, the women who'd been erased from existence. She didn't cry, didn't break, just spoke clearly and honestly about everything she'd witnessed. Across the room, Richard Moss sat in handcuffs, his expensive suit replaced with an orange jumpsuit. When Emily finished, the judge thanked her for her courage. Ms. Carter, because of your testimony, we will be able to bring justice to dozens of victims. Your bravery has saved lives. Emily nodded, but she didn't feel brave. She just felt tired. Caleb was waiting in the hallway. You did it. We did it. Emily leaned against him. I couldn't have done this without you. Yes, you could have. You're the strongest person I know. But I didn't have to do it alone. That's the point. They walked out of the courthouse together, hand in hand, into a crowd of reporters. Ms. Carter, is it true you're engaged to Caleb Donovan? Ms. Carter, how far along are you in your pregnancy? Mr. Donovan, will you be starting a foundation for trafficking victims? Caleb started to pull Emily toward the car, but she stopped him. It's okay, I want to say something. She turned to face the cameras, Caleb beside her. Yes, I'm engaged. Yes, I'm pregnant. And yes, I just testified against a criminal network that hurt countless people. Emily's voice was steady, but I'm not here to talk about any of that. I'm here to say something to every woman who's ever been told she's not strong enough, not brave enough, not enough. The reporters went silent. You are enough. You are strong, and you don't need permission to fight for your own life. Emily's hand moved to her stomach. I'm going to be a mother soon, and I want my child to grow up in a world where strength doesn't mean suffering alone, where asking for help isn't weakness, where love means partnership, not possession. She looked at Caleb. I found that, and I hope everyone watching finds it too. The reporters erupted with questions, but Emily and Caleb were already walking away. 6 months later, Emily stood in the same restaurant kitchen where their story had begun. But this time she wasn't scrubbing wine stains from marble counters. She was cutting the ribbon on the Carter Donovan Workers' Rights Center. The space had been transformed. Where kitchen equipment once stood, there were now desks staffed with lawyers, counselors, and advocates. Free legal aid for workers, job training programs, emergency housing assistance. This is incredible, Mrs. Carter said, wiping her eyes. Your father would be so proud. Emily's hand rested on her visible baby bump. I hope so. Caleb appeared at her side. They're ready for your speech. I don't have a speech prepared. You never do, but you always know what to say. Emily stepped up to the podium. The room was packed with workers, reporters, city officials, and the people who'd helped make this possible. 6 months ago, I was terrified, she began. Terrified of powerful people. Terrified of losing myself. Terrified of becoming a mother when I didn't know if I was strong enough. The room was silent. But I learned something important. Strength isn't about doing everything alone. It's about knowing when to ask for help, when to trust, when to let someone stand beside you instead of in front of you. She looked at Caleb. I learned that love isn't about control. It's about choice, choosing each other every day even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. Her hand moved to her stomach. This center exists because people made that choice. Lawyers chose to work for free. Counselors chose to volunteer their time. My partner chose to use his resources to protect instead of possess. Caleb's eyes were bright with tears. So to everyone here, workers, volunteers, supporters, thank you for choosing to fight. Thank you for choosing to believe that people matter more than profit. And thank you for choosing to stand in with the invisible, the exploited, the forgotten. The applause was deafening. After the ceremony, Emily and Caleb walked through the old restaurant one last time. Remember the first night we met? Emily asked. You told me I missed a spot. I was an arrogant ass. Yes, you were, Emily smiled. But you were also the first person who really saw me. Not just a waitress, not just someone to pity. You saw me. I still see you every day. Caleb pulled her close, careful of her growing belly. And I fall in love with what I see every single time, even when I'm stubborn, especially when you're stubborn. Emily's phone buzzed. Her doctor. Everything okay? Caleb asked. She wants to know if we've decided on names yet. Have we? Emily smiled. I have an idea, but you might hate it. Try me. If it's a girl, Grace, because that's what you gave me when I needed it most. Caleb's voice was rough. And if it's a boy, Carter, so our child always remembers where they came from. Grace or Carter Donovan. Caleb tested the names. Perfect. They stood there in the kitchen where it had all begun, a powerful man and a waitress who'd refused to stay invisible. They'd survived threats, betrayal, and their own worst instincts. They'd learned to trust when trust felt impossible, to choose partnership over control, to love without possession. And in 4 months, they'd become parents. Emily looked around the transformed restaurant one last time. This space had held so much pain, so much fear, but now it held hope, possibility, a future where people didn't have to choose between survival and dignity. Ready to go home? Caleb asked. Home to the penthouse. Home to wherever you are. He kissed her forehead. That's what home means to me now. They walked out together into the Chicago evening, hand in hand, ready to face whatever came next. Not because they weren't afraid, but because they'd learned that the bravest thing you can do isn't facing danger alone. It's choosing to face it together, trusting that the person beside you will catch you when you fall, stand with you when you fight, and love you enough to let you choose your own path. And that was the strongest foundation any love or any life could be built on.